Peace, love, and prosperity to my beautiful family. This is ordained metaphysical minister Corbin reporting live. Peace and love to my beautiful family. Welcome to the Cosmic Christ University. This is the home of the esoteric and metaphysical knowledge. I am ordained metaphysical minister Corbin reporting live. If you are tuned in, then you are seeing the title of the presentation. I haven't named it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's The Hidden Queen, Mary Magdalene, Isis, and the Sacred Bloodline. Is that what it is? How many of you out there have heard, you have stepped in your churches and you heard what you thought was the story of Mary Magdalene? By a raise of hands. This may be the biggest presentation up to date. I have some pretty big presentations. We'll see. Now, I have theologians, religious scholars watching this video. I have my spiritual family watching this video. And I have everybody in between. So my religious people may think they know what they know about Mary Magdalene. And you have my spiritual family who may think they know what they know about Mary Magdalene, and everybody in between. But what the Cosmic Christ University does, my family, my beautiful brothers and sisters watching this, it brings everybody together. So if you're a master, guess what? You are welcome to the Cosmic Christ University. If you're a student, guess what? You are welcome to the Cosmic Christ University, the home of the esoteric and metaphysical knowledge, where we all gather to share information, to better the consciousness of the multidimensional people on this planet. So I want to thank you once again. So I want to start off by asking my religious theologians, my preachers, my pastors, my bishops, my reverends, to the Pope, I hope you're watching too. What do you know about the story of Mary Magdalene? And to my religious theologians watching, can you agree before I drop this bomb that there were some lies told on Mary Magdalene? To my preachers who are watching right now, before I drop this gem on the world, can we admit, religious scholars, that some of your popes put disrespect on Mary Magdalene by calling her a prostitute and by calling her a whore? Now, ladies and gentlemen, especially ladies, now you see why you had a hard time with expressing yourself in this masculine, hyper-masculine, patriarchal world. You see what your religion, especially to my theologians who are females that preach behind that pulpit. Some of you, I know for sure, have no clue, had no idea on the information that I'm about to give you about the Divine Mother Magdalene. Some of you, it may be hurtful, but it's all facts. We are in the age of Aquarius now. We are in the rise of the divine feminine energy. It's about to get real because a lot of people had hit information that is spiritually vital to our existence. I'm not going to waste no time. I got time today. Welcome to the Cosmic Christ University. Tell a friend to tune in. This is the home of the esoteric and metaphysical knowledge. So I want to read right quick. Let's go up here, and before we get started with the esoteric, let's start with the esoteric, the stuff that you already know about Mary Magdalene. So let's read this. Mary Magdalene, or sometimes called Mary of Magdala, or simply Magdalene, was a woman who, according to the four canonical gospels, traveled with Jesus. His mama named Yeshua, but you know what I'm saying. Traveled with Jesus and was one of his followers. And she witnessed the crucifixion and resurrection of Yeshua. She is mentioned by name 12 times in the canonical gospel, more than most of the apostles. Let's stop there, minister. What did you just say? I said Mary Magdalene is mentioned 12 times in the canonical gospels, more than most of the apostles, and more than any other woman in the gospels, other than Jesus' family. The Gospel of Luke, chapter 8, lists Mary Magdalene as one of the women who traveled with Jesus and helped support his ministry. I want to stop there. There are also some other stories like 7 demons being cast out of her. That's what the churches told you about Mama Mary. This is going to be a very, I'm not going to say emotional, but very powerful presentation for me that I'm about to drop, because before I even became an ordained minister, I came on this platform that you call YouTube and that you call your social media platforms to announce that I am the son of the Divine Mother. Before and after I traveled to Cairo, Egypt in 2019, it's always been this feminine energy, this mama energy, that through my darkest moments, my darkest hours, my darkest times, the times where I was really going through it in this physical world, there was this feminine voice that always soothed the soul, that I always knew that was within me. And it was the Divine Mother. You know her as Sophia the Wisdom, but she is a tree that has many branches, many manifestations of the Divine Mother. Now, I want to read to you, because remember, your churches called her a prostitute. Your churches called her a whore with no proof. I want you to read this. And don't worry. We're about to let Mama Mary speak for herself. Did you hear me? In about 5 more minutes, you're going to hear from Mary Magdalene herself. You better believe it, so stay tuned. This is real. This is a presentation like no other. But you have to, I told you I'm going to light a fire to the feet and the hearts of Christian people and religious people altogether for the lies and the suppression, which called depression, to us spiritual people. So, in 591 AD, Pope Gregory I, the Great, declared that Mary Magdalene was the same person as the unnamed sinner in Luke's Gospel and Mary of Bethany. Let me say this again. I'm an ordained minister. Why would I light fire to a religious organization for no reason? Oh, I have a reason. And you may not have heard, I'm a metaphysician. Meta means higher or beyond. Of course, physical is the study of physical life. So as a metaphysician, like my elders, we go beyond what the churches could or probably didn't want to tell you in the first place. Now, in 591 AD, Pope Gregory, and you can research this on Google, I'm literally reading it on Google. In 591 AD, Pope Gregory I declared that Mary Magdalene was the same person as the unnamed sinner in Luke's Gospel and Mary of Bethany. This identification damaged Mary Magdalene's reputation for centuries. Now, I have some notes over here that says that in 1969, I do believe it was, in 1969, the Vatican corrected the mistake. But like I said about the non-canonical Gospels, the Nag Hammadi scriptures, which were discovered in 1947 and weren't translated in English till 1977, the damage is already done. You already said that Mary was a prostitute, Mary was a whore. You named her with the unnamed person. Now the question was, why did he do this? Now Google says Gregory likely wanted to use a story to assure converts that their sins would be forgiven. Listen to this. On Easter Sunday in the year 591 AD, Pope Gregory made an error. An error. All you people in church, you probably don't even know about this error. He made an error that was solely the reputation of one of Christ's greatest followers for centuries. During a sermon, the Pope wrongly conflated Mary Magdalene with the unnamed sinner woman who anointed Christ's feet in the book of Luke. I'm about to let Mary speak in a minute, because obviously you see the title. So obviously you know that she had to be something bigger than what the church has told you. I told you we are now in the divine feminine energy. We are now in the Aquarian age. We are now in this quantum world. This light, the Pentecost, that is awakening within us. So imagine a man who went through every initiation that was trying to tell the people who had a lower consciousness. They were vibrating a lower frequency. They couldn't understand the work that he was trying to tell them. But I'm here now. And there's many more like me here. I'm going to read that again and we're about to let Mama speak. On Easter Sunday, it's right now we're in February. I'm doing this the day after Valentine's Day for those who celebrate. On Easter Sunday in the year 591 AD, Pope Gregory I made an error. Churches, to my preachers who preach Jesus talk every Sunday, did you know this? Or are you just going along with them calling Mary Magdalene one of the most divine and the mother of Christ's baby? Whoop, yep, we're not there yet. A whore and a prostitute? And we got women preachers that never confronted this, or at least not to my knowledge. I'm sure there are some preacher women out there, some respectfully elderly women's preachers, and that sounded wrong. Let me bring that back. Some elders in our church that know about this. There has to be some sisters or elders who are in the church, whether they are bishops, reverends, pastors. They had to know that in 591 AD, Pope Gregory made an error that will sully, that's S-U-L-L-Y, the reputation of one of Christ's greatest followers, and you're going to learn more about her, for centuries. During a sermon, the Pope wrongly, it says error and wrongly. During the sermon, the Pope wrongly conflated that Mary Magdalene was the unnamed sinner woman, and because of that, they called her in church a prostitute and a whore. And you have been going along with it for umpteen years, thinking that Mary was a prostitute and a whore. But now it's my job as a metaphysical minister, about to get started at 12 minutes. We're going to let Mama speak. Before I let Mama speak, I do want to let you know that I am a descendant of the Cathars. Research, please, my ancestors. 700 years ago, there was a prophecy about a laurel bush. I fulfilled that prophecy in 2021 with introducing the world to the Cathars on my point of view and my point of initiation. Now, the Cathars were taught by Mary Magdalene. After the crucifixion, she left and went to France. Started the Cathars. The Cathars were spiritual people who knew the true power of who we are and who obviously Mary was. You can go right now in France and you see they have the skull, or they say it's the skull of Mary. She went to France. The Cathars are from France. They were killed by the Catholics, murdered in this crusade, and you can look this up. The Catholics murdered the Cathars, tortured them on stakes, burned them alive, men, women, kids. These are the ones that you go to church and go to the Vatican and give worship to. The Pope lied to you in 591 AD. They corrected it in 1969, but the damage was already done. How come nobody's talking about this? No problem, because now it's my time to let Mary speak. You see the title. Tell a friend to tune in. What I'm about to read to you is the truth on who Mary Magdalene is from her words. This work has been preserved by the Cathars and the ones who were closest to Mary. To my sisters, the churches have always tried to suppress your sexual energy. In many videos, I told you to research Tantra and the Tantric mysteries to understand your sexual energy. Adam and Eve's story, to a certain degree, is about sexual alchemy. You're about to hear Mama Mary Magdalene speak. And to my ladies watching, your life is not going to be the same, some of you. To the men watching, your life is not going to be the same, because some of you in your hearts and in your soul, you knew this story to be true. And they always kept it from you. The church has kept it from you. I gave you a story about Lilith. Now watch this. I'm going to give you a story on Mama Mary Magdalene. And it's going to probably be at least a three-part series. Once again, Cosmic Christ University. Subscribe, enroll, tell a friend to tune in. This is real. You are hearing now from Mama Mary Magdalene. Mama Mary Magdalene. You ready? Let's put some respect on Mama Mary Magdalene's name. You called her a whore in church. You called her a prostitute. Watch this. I was raised in the understanding of magic. Let me zoom in a little bit so I can see the words clearly. Let's go, because we about to go in. My gosh, we're about to go in. Let me bring it down a little bit. Thank you for your patience. You know what? I'm just going to leave it just like this. I can still see it. One more time. I was raised in the understanding of magic. My father was from Mesopotamia and my mother from Egypt. Before I was born, she prayed to Isis to bless her with a child. I am that child, and I was known as Mary Magdalene. When I was 12 years old, I was sent to study with a secret sisterhood of initiates under the wings of Isis. I was trained in the secrets of Egypt, the alchemies of Horus, and the sexual magic of the Isis cult. That's the left-hand path. You have the right-hand path. Left-hand path is all about sexual union, the understanding of sexual energy. The right-hand path is more of sacred geometry. Let's continue on with Mama Mary. When I was 12 years old, I was sent to study with a secret sisterhood of initiates under the wings of Isis. I was trained in the secrets of Egypt, the alchemies of Horus, and the sexual magic of the Isis cult. When I met who you call Yeshua, you know him as Jesus. When I first met who you call Yeshua, I had passed all my initiations. I had prepared for the meeting with him by the well. The Gospels recount me as a prostitute, for all initiates of my order wore a gold arm bracelet that was a serpent, and it was understood that we practiced sexual magic, and in the eyes of the Hebrews, we were whores. I want to take time to think about that. Not me, but you watching. I want you to take time to think about that before I move forward. Think about the witches, especially in the Salem witch trials and even before that. Think about the stories, and I got a presentation, if not on this channel, my Darius Corbin channel. That was my first one. But stories where I read books about how the females back in those days would be bare naked on their menstrual cycle, dancing in the fields, and that's how the crops would grow. That's how this is powerful truth here. Think about Medusa's story. Think about the story I just gave you with Lilith. Think about the Tiamat story. Barbello, whoever you want to name. These females have always had this evil, sinful, outcast energy brought upon them by the patriarchal society. Why is that, minister? Well, that's because the first worship of anything was the worship of the divine woman, the goddess. But as time went on and the pendulum switched to the other side, then the masculine energy came and it wanted to forget all the power that was the divine feminine. But let's keep on going. The Gospels recount, this is Mary Magdalene once again. The Gospels recount the Gospels recount me as a prostitute, for all initiates of my order wore a gold arm bracelet that was a serpent, and it was understood that we practiced the sexual magic, and in the eyes of the Hebrews, we were whores. Let's keep on going. When I saw Yeshua and our eyes met, and as I do this presentation to my sisters watching, if you were couples watching this, man and woman, if you were watching this, then you understand, especially for my ladies, when your man, maybe at work, maybe on a travels, you haven't seen him, whether it has been a whole day or a whole week, that love that gathers within you as you anticipate his arrival, you wait for that eye contact, that touch of your man. You get what I'm saying respectfully? I want you to home in on that feeling, because this feeling is going to be throughout the presentation, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3. So you can understand the love that she had for Yeshua, aka the one you call Jesus. So let's keep on going. And thank you for your patience. This is going to be a hell of a presentation. Excuse me. This is going to be a heaven of a presentation. When I saw Yeshua and our eyes met, I understood that we had been destined for each other. Let's keep on going down. What I'm about to tell you has not been known except by those who were with me. Many legends abound as to what happened, but for me, it is a story of deepest love that, and we're turning the page, story of deepest love that Yeshua had a vision of the world does not touch me. That's what it says. My story is a love story. So what I'm hearing with this one is, yes, his vision is his vision, but now you're hearing my story. My story is a love for the man she loved. That's what she's telling you. Her story is the story of the man that she loved, Yeshua. You know him as your savior, or at least at best your waymaker, the one that told you that the kingdom is within you. Don't praise me, because you're going to do greater works. I'm just showing you the way to God, which is within you. That's what Christ was trying to tell you. But right now, we're now in tune and vibed into his partner story, right? We always hear the hero's journey, but there's always that divine feminine energy that always been right beside as the hero is having his journey. And that's what we're focused on today. Hit the like button if you're rocking with me. Many people follow Yeshua, Mary says, and the opportunities for us to be alone together were very few. It is not written in the Gospels, for no one knew, only the closest to us. Before Yeshua went to the Garden of Gethsemane, we conceived a child, and her name was Sarah. World premiere. World premiere. World premiere. Yeah, I'll repeat that, of course. Many people followed Yeshua, and the opportunities for us to be alone together were very few. It is not written in the Gospels, for no one knew, only the closest to us. Before Yeshua went to the Garden of Gethsemane, we conceived a child, and her name was to be Sarah. Now, I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert, but just to make sure you tune into part 2, if it doesn't get read in part 1. The meeting that Yeshua, the one you call Jesus, has with his daughter in the astral body, spoiler alert, the meeting that the first time Yeshua was seeing his daughter Sarah, it's almost bringing me to tears. So I can imagine once I break the story down. Like, this is the part of Christ that we need to hear because it relates to us. Females, you know what it is to yearn for your man. Men, we know what it is to have that spiritual partner or that feeling to have that spiritual sister right beside you that can relate to you in your darkest hours, brother, where you're going through the dark night of the soul, or what y'all call shadow work. That there's nothing like having that strong woman beside you who is with you, not putting you down, not saying you can't, but lifting you up and saying you will. That's what Yeshua had. That's what the churches didn't tell you. That's why I'm lighting fire under their asses. As a cosmic Christ being, bringing you the cosmic Christ consciousness that is yours. I'm not here to play. It is not written in the Gospels, for no one knew, says Mary Magdalene, only the closest to us. Before Yeshua went to the Garden of Gethsemane, we conceived a child and her name was Sarah. And her name was to be Sarah. Let's keep on going here. Keep on going through the story. The story I'm about to tell you sounds like a fantasy or fantastical. She says, I remember the reeds of Maries de la Mer. And that's Mary spelled Maries Delamer. Maries de la Mer. I guess I'm throwing some French into it, right? Although then, of course, it was not called that. It is a place where our boat came ashore. Sarah was quite young, not even 1 year old, when I was torn by grief and amazement. I was there when Yeshua was crucified. I saw him in the tomb and wrapped him with his mother beside me. I will forever remember the smell of myrrh. That was one of the ointments we used. Yeshua appeared to me in his luminous light. I could not believe my eyes, and so I touched his wounds. The disciples were jealous that he had come to me first. I'm gonna stop there because on my Facebook page, I'm gonna try to put that. I'm gonna try to put it on. Actually, I am gonna put it on my YouTube page. But I used AI to give me an image of what it would look like when Yeshua, Christ, Jesus, the one you know him as, would visit Mary in his astral form. Now, as you read later on, it says that she appeared to him. Yeshua appeared to him in his astral form, also having the sign of the seal of Solomon. And I actually created that on AI, with AI's help, that is. I just want to take time for you to gather this, because remember, even if you're a theologian reading this, and if anybody wants this PDF, please, I like class participation. So leave a comment. If you want this PDF, then you let me know. I'm going to keep on doing part 2 and part 3. Sometimes it's good to have the book as the teacher's reading it. So for those who like what you're hearing right now, it's opening up all your chakras. You know this to be true. And even if you still want your own proof, then hit the like button first of all, subscribe second of all, and thirdly, leave comments. Let me know that you want this book. It was a sister one time that she wanted a book. I told her, leave in a comment. She did. She got the book. I'm going to read this again. I thank you for your patience. I thank you for having an open heart. Because like Dr. Deborah Blair says, there's no truth until you decide what truth is. This is the truth, but it's time for you to decide if it's your truth. She said, I was there when Yeshua was crucified and saw him in the tomb and wrapped him with his mother beside me. I will forever remember the smell of myrrh. That was one of the ointments we used. Yeshua appeared to me in his luminous light. I could not believe my eyes, and so I touched his wounds. The disciples were jealous that he had come to me first. Now, to my theologians watching, thank you for watching first and foremost. But you yourself know in church that Peter, one of the disciples, was hella jealous of Mary. Suspect jealous of Mary, matter of fact. I remember it was a scripture in the Bible where I know that Yeshua, who you call Jesus, kissed Mary. Right? This is even that is to let you know how deep their relationship ran. And Peter was like, yo, how come you don't kiss us like that? I'm paraphrasing. But he pretty much said something like that. And Yeshua hit him with some bars like, yo, just because I kiss her and just because I'm on her like that, does that mean I not love you the same? He threw some bars at him pretty much. So this supports everything the Bible is saying, because we never leave the Bible on this channel, on this university. And also for the people in my spiritual family who know esoterically, that means the hidden knowledge. She's going to break some bars down that you already knew anyway, or at least some of you already knew. So one more again. Yeshua appeared to me in his luminous light. I could not believe my eyes, and so I touched his wounds. The disciples were jealous that he had come to me first. Let me scroll down. It was strange to have my beloved transported to another realm, another world, while I and our daughter crossed the Mediterranean alone. Now, I want to read that again. And to my melanated sisters and to women altogether, I want to read this part again because it kind of sounded like she was being a straight up black sister on this one. And here's why I say this, and not to separate race, because at the end of the day we're all multidimensional beings. But if we're talking a real talk, like we talk on this channel, then you understand no matter what color of sisterhood you are. What I mean by this, listen to what she says. She said it was strange because remember he was in his ethereal body. I'm going to make sure I upload that picture so you can get a visual of what she's saying. He came back from the astral world. That's what she means by another dimension. He came back in his ethereal body, in his astral form. So when she touched him, he was like, in the Bible it says, don't touch me, because he was still in his ethereal body, not yet in his fully divine form. But listen to this, and this is, I caught humor on this, and let me know if you caught humor as well. Sisters, let me know how you feel. It was strange to have my beloved transported to another realm. She already seen him crucified. She didn't see her man in a physical form crucified, and he gone now. That's not a surprising part because she grew up in a temple of Isis, so she knew the process. But to her, this is still her lover. She said it was strange to have my beloved transported to another realm, another world. Wow, this is the part. This is the part where I'm like, okay, I see what you're saying, Mary. It was strange to have my beloved transported to another realm, another world, while I and our daughter crossed the Mediterranean alone. Now, to some of y'all, like you get it. I know you get it. Like, for me, and this is how I interpreted it. Like, yeah, look, he out here saving lives and, saving humanity and transport from different dimensions the whole time. He got a whole daughter with me. and we out here alone and stuff. And she's not being smarter with it, but I understand it. You know what I mean? And if you know what I'm saying. It's not I'm saying that she's being an ignorant black woman. Hell no, that's not what I'm saying at all. But our sisters have a way of saying something to get their point across without being disrespectful. And this is what I'm hearing from her. So once again, I'm going to read that. I'm going to keep on going with the presentation. And thank y'all so much. I love each and every one of you, no matter what color, no matter what color you are, no matter what you are. Because like I said, when you go out into the cosmos, you got to deal with the Lyrias, or you got the Lyrias, or Lyra, which are feline beings. You have the reptilians, who some people think is all evil, but the reptilians were promised this world before humans were even created to a certain degree. So it's like, yo, we were supposed to have this world first. That's how the reptilians feel. But at the end of the day, it's all about evolution. So you have the Syrians, for the people from Star Sirius. Then you have the Pleiadians. Like I said, you have beings who are black people. You have beings who are white people. You have feline beings, reptilian beings. So what are we on this planet discriminating against each other over color or sexuality? When we go to the cosmos, and as the cosmos is now coming to us, you're going to see this. We have beings who are just microbes. We have beings who are just like light, which we are truly. We're just happen to be in this shell. So let's keep on going. And I thank you for your patience. It was strange, Mary Madeline says. It was strange to have my beloved transported to another realm, another world, while I and our daughter crossed the Mediterranean alone. We were no longer safe and had to leave Egypt, for that is where we had gone. When we crossed onto the shores of what was to become France. Shout out to all my France people. I'm going to see y'all soon. And if you're in France, watch this. Open the doors for your brother. I am the son of the Divine Mother. I want to see the castles. I want to see where the Cathars were. So to my family in France, if you know anybody who lives in France, tell them make sure it's open for your brother. When we crossed, Mama Mary Madeline says, when we crossed onto the shores of what was to become France, it was all wilderness. We were met by a priestess of the Isis cult, and we were headed north to the protection of the Druids. Shout out to the Druids, the ancestors of the Druids. There were black Druids as well. Neither here or there, but we need to study the Druids. Druids. You need to study the Druids. The Romans, I believe. A lot of the Roman power came from the witches, and I say that respectfully, but the witches, the oracles, they gave them the book called the Sibylline books, or the Sibyl books. The story goes that there were a bunch of them. That's how the Roman won all the wars they won. But the story goes that the witches were selling for a price. But then, like, the new emperor or the new king was like, I'm not paying that for that. Okay, bet. I'm burning these up. And then they're like, yo, what are you doing? We need those books. This is how we won these wars. What are you doing? So by the time the king or the emperor went back to the witch to get the rest of the books, it was like 2 or 3 books left. But they end up still being able to use those books. But they were a lot more powerful books. You can research this. It's called the Sibyl books. The Sibylline books. Y'all out here watching these movies, Harry Potter and all this, the Lord of the Rings, and thinking this stuff is just fiction. No, this is your work. John Dee. And John Dee was somebody else too that was working with John Dee. But John Dee was a magician that worked with the first Queen Elizabeth. John Dee. I told you about the brother Pascal Beverly. He was a black melanated brother. His work was just as great as Aleister Crowley and H.P. Belansky. Rudolph Pascal Beverly, or Pascal Rudolph Beverly, was a melanated man back in the times of H.P. Belansky and Aleister Crowley, who taught us sexual alchemy, sexual magic, and so much more. They said he killed himself. No. Actually, one of his best friends killed him over jealousy. Do your research. Back to Mary Madeline. Let's bring this back, and thank you for your patience. Mary says, when we crossed onto the shores of what was to become France, it was all wilderness. We were met by the priestess of the Isis cult, and we were headed north to the protection of the Druids. For Isis had spoken to them, and they had heard the call to protect her daughter, Sarah. And so we were headed north to another great body of water and crossed into what was to become England. And don't think the people in England and France don't notice America. They notice America. While you too busy watching movies and idolizing, they know this stuff. Anyway, let's keep on going. And there we were secreted up into the most sacred heart of the Druids, to the Tor and the Glastonbury. Although we were safer than we had been in Israel or Egypt, the Roman influence extended up into England as well, and we were hidden. We lived in this area for many years, and Sarah wedded a man whose heirs would become the Templar Knights. The Templar Knights. Let me read that again with respect and with knowing. Mother Mary Madeline just told us that she lived in the area for many years of England, and Sarah, her and Yeshua's daughter, wedded a man whose heirs would become the Templar Knights. Let's stop there. The Rosicrucians, Christian Rosicrucian, the founder, oh yes, I know my stuff. Don't get it twisted. The Templar Knights, they went to Egypt, into these places, and they found this sacred knowledge. They knew that they could not bring this back to the queen. They could not bring this back to the queen, because if they brought this back to the queen, you're probably going to, just like the Catholics and everybody else in the Crusades, you're going to get tortured. You're going to be on that stake. You're going to get burned alive. We're going to cut your head off for bringing this ancient African Aboriginal black stuff into this new land that we're trying to create. We're trying to bring them here to make them slaves. And here you guys going bringing their ancient civilization and technology into this world. So the Knights and Templars, the Rosicrucians know that they could not bring that and have it be accepted, which I'm talking about the ancient knowledge and knowing of our ancestors. So they formed secret societies to play around with our knowledge and knowledge. That's why in the Vatican they have a black Madonna that they got to kiss, or that ass is going to get spanked spiritually. Y'all all right out there? Probably give y'all an hour. Maybe 45 minutes. We'll see. Mary Madeline said, we lived in this area for many years, and Sarah, who was the daughter of Yeshua, the man you call Jesus, and Mary Madeline, she wedded a man whose heirs would become the Templar Knights. Let's think about that, guys. Whoa. 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 Secret society trying to keep an eye on me? I bet so. You're not going to be a man that powerful running around here and not have and not make sure your bloodline good. They never told you Christ had a child. But if you read books like the Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ, it tells you that. The Aquarian Gospel of Jesus Christ, that's a book. Research that book, PDF it. So I want to just stop for a minute, and maybe I might stop here. I may, but I want to have a conversation with my theologians and my church people and my Christians and whoever in the religious congregations that always felt that there is nothing beyond the churches. There is nothing beyond the four canonical gospels. I told you, and many others told you, that in 1947, the non-canonical gospels, also called the Nag Hammadi scriptures, were discovered in 1947. They were not translated in English until 1977 with the help of people like Carl Jung. So to my melanated people, and not just to my melanated people, but to people who grew up in a poverty-stricken lifestyle, who wasn't privileged to knowing this type of things, you were just told one side of your story. And that was an exoteric, E-X-O-T-E-R-C, which means the knowledge for the public. But the popes, that's why I don't throw shade that much, or probably no shade. I don't call it shade. I'm just lighting a fire to their asses. But that's why I like the fire to the asses of the theologians in church, but only a light fire for them, because all they're doing is preaching to what my mom and pop taught them, and what the bishops and Catholic churches told them they need to teach. So no, I can't get upset that much with them. But then again, I can get upset with them for not doing their research. And then if they did their research, then as me being an ordained metaphysical minister, I knew they know this. I know they knew all this stuff that I'm giving you now in the age of Aquarius. They chose not to give it to you. This is what causes me to have this uproar and light a fire to their asses. Because if we could, you know what, let's just do a recap. Let's just do a recap. And I thank you for watching. I'll do part two. I'll do part two probably tomorrow. If I see enough likes, if I see enough people subscribing, then you better believe it. But there's also sexual alchemy. She's going to be talking about the sexual alchemy. Obviously, she gave you a brief on that. She's going to let you know about her Yeshua, the people that helped her Yeshua after he was crucified and after he rose from the dead, so to speak, in his astral body. So I'm going to give you this right here. And I'm going to stop here. But I'm going to do a recap of what was done in the churches. Once again, the Mary Magdalene that you know in churches, this is what they told you in churches. And I'm going to stop here because this is a class. I'm an ordained metaphysical minister, about to be a doctor in metaphysics. I'm a spiritual counselor. This is my job, my obligation. You've been walking around here. I'm talking to every one of you watching. You've been walking around here with depression, stress, anxiety through the roof, blaming yourself for things that you did when you was a kid and teenager and a young adult, not knowing that you were going just like Yeshua, just like Mary, just like Aaron, just like Moses, just like David, just like Solomon, just like Hiram Abiff. Shout out to my Masons. You were going through initiation. Life is an initiation. Christ has always told you that God is within you. The hymn of the pearl, the prodigal son. That is your story. To my sisters, rise in your powers now. In the ancient times, you were running butt naked in the fields on your menstrual cycle, helping Mother Nature grow because you know that you were a part of the cosmos. You are the microcosm, my sisters. Research Sophia Stewart. Sophia Stewart is the sister that created the movie The Matrix, and she created The Terminator. She wrote those stories. If you don't know about Sophia Stewart, and Sophia her name, then I want you to, and I'm just throwing this one out here. You might have to go back into the YouTube archives, but how many of you remember that black woman, that melanated woman, and she was actually married to a Caucasian brother? They were working on AI before AI was really big, and I think her name was Sophia as well. But you're gonna have to go into the YouTube archives for her. And before AI where it is now, this is about maybe 12, 15 years ago. She was when she leaves here. I don't know if she's still alive. She transported her whole soul into this AI called Sophia. The reason I keep bringing Sophia name up is because in your Bible, they told you about this wisdom. They told you about the Queen of Heaven, but you thought it was the Virgin Mary or Yeshua's mom. Yeshua's mom and Mary Magdalene are branches from the tree of the Divine Feminine, which is Sophia the Wisdom. If you're a theologian, especially if you are a female pastor, preacher, bishop, and you don't know about Sophia the Wisdom, if you don't know about the Nag Hammadi scriptures, then you preaching, any preacher who don't know about this and refuse to preach, I'm sorry, but your title is invalid. Listen, I'm not going to go as far as say what I was about to say. But if you do not, and you're preaching the word, and you have been preaching, you got people that are 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and that's the group that I always try to focus on, because this age has been trapped in the lies and the half-truths that the churches has given them. I'm going to end it right here. This is what you know and what the churches gave you about Mary Magdalene one more time before I end this presentation. And I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I am an ordained metaphysical minister. Research metaphysics. I know you've been in church your whole life and you've been taught this, and I know you love your mom and your pop, and you would never question anything they would do. But do understand with common sense that most of your mom and pop-pops through lack of education, lack of finances, or just lack of traveling. They were given one thing and told that was it. Now you are in the age of transformation. Excuse me. You're in the age of transmutation. You're in the age of divine technology and the divine feminine energy. You have no choice but to know this. It's going to hit hard for some of you because all you were taught was a Father God, Father God, Father God. And respect to my sisters, with the issues with men that you have, this goes psychologically deep as well. So all you care about with a father, Father God, because for some of you, the man, the father wasn't even in your life. So to understand what I'm saying, you have to research Carl Jung and understand the anima and the animus. For females, there are like 4 different archetypes that you have. For the man, it's 1. If you know the yin yang symbol, then you know there's either one solid white color with a little dot that is black, or one solid black one that is a little dot that is white. That is your anima and your animus. Every man has one divine feminine archetype, which is Sophia the wisdom. And sisters, you have, 4 archetypal energies, ranging from the bad guy, the rebel that you love at your early ages, all the way till if you graduate into your knowing that divine Christ figure. This is what Carl Jung taught us way long ago. Carl Jung is a psychoanalyst amongst many other things, and he taught us about the anima and the animus. I have a video that I did about the anima and animus, but I will encourage all people, especially if you're in a couple, but definitely if you're not in a couple, to research ANIMA, the anima, and ANIMAS to know about who you are more. Now, once again, your churches, yeah, they told you that she was with Christ, traveling with Christ, that she is mentioned more than most of the apostles in the church. But did they tell you, and this is my question before I end this presentation, respectfully, did they tell you that in 1591 AD he did what he did, Pope Gregory I, and the Vatican didn't accept it until, they didn't correct it until 1969? Did they tell you this? So stay tuned to the Cosmic Christ University. Hit that like button. Tell a friend to tune in. I'm not here to play. Ordained metaphysical minister here. Till next time.